So looks like it's time to review Modern Warfare 2's campaign. What did I, JungleForce, the man with a factual opinion, think of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign? I mean, it's alright. But going a bit deeper into it, there were a lot of things that I thought were working, and there were a lot of things that I thought weren't. So this video will be split into two parts. First being what I thought was working, second part being what I thought wasn't working. To start off what was working, obviously the graphics. I played the campaign on PC at the highest settings and I think it looked pretty good. I think it looked about on par with Modern Warfare 2019, which I thought looked really good. Which is nice because Modern Warfare 2019 is the best looking COD game. Another thing I thought they did well was the level variety. With the exception of about 2 levels, every level felt different and unique and kept me interested in what I was doing. It's also nice because they designed some of the levels to where there are multiple different ways to get to the objective, which I think can definitely help in that replay value. I think in terms of voice acting, everyone delivers in this. There wasn't a performance that I found lacked behind the others. If I were to choose a standout, I would say it would probably be Ghost. You spend a lot of time with Ghost throughout the campaign, so it's nice to have a good performance by Sam Rukin to elevate that character. I think for the most part the story as you play it is interesting, and it keeps you invested in what's going to happen next. Something that I wasn't that worried about was the characters. I think Modern Warfare 2 does a good job at honoring the previous editions of the character by changing them to fit this new story but keeping them recognizable to older fans like me. Optional voice lines are not new or revolutionary, but I think they're a fun addition that can enhance replayability, and it gives us little character moments to kind of invest ourselves in. Probably my biggest gripe with Modern Warfare 2019's campaign is that it was only about 4 hours long. I'm not sure of the exact length of the MW2 campaign, but it definitely feels at least twice as long as the 2019 campaign, and I think it definitely benefited from that because it gives the game time to flesh out the story and gives us time with these iconic characters. Campaign rewards are nice. I think it's a good starting point for campaign rewards. They decided to do what Rockstar does and release the campaign early, which I think is nice because you don't have to choose what game mode you want to play first. Because of that, it'll get more people that probably wouldn't play the campaign to play it because they don't have to take time away from multiplayer to play it. That about does it for what I think was working for the MW2 campaign. And now this is what I think wasn't working. So despite the story being interesting, it's kind of a nothing burger, and it's really annoying that it feels like a bunch of setup. Which is another gripe I had with Modern Warfare 2019, was that the campaign ending kind of made it just feel like setup. But that was okay because it was the beginning of a new story. This is the second game and a much longer game, and something should have actually happened. For the whole game I was interested because I was expecting something to happen, and then I get to the end of the campaign and nothing really happens, only for the thing I actually wanted to happen, but it's at the very end of the campaign and even in a hidden cutscene. After playing it I realized there's no consequences. No one dies, no big events happen. It's kind of just something might happen and we stop it, but everything's okay now. I was really hoping for something big to happen and it ended with a putter. The original MW2 campaign is probably my favorite COD campaign, and I don't feel like they were anywhere close to each other. The original is just so much better. We got kind of close when they failed to stop the missile launch in the final mission, but it doesn't really matter because less than 10 minutes later we fix it and everything's hunky-dory. We also have this weird disconnect from the Modern Warfare 2019 campaign where you have like a bunch of characters that don't really matter that much in this campaign. Like Farah, for example, feels like a complete afterthought. She was one of the main characters in 2019, and she's barely in one mission of the game. My only assumption is that the actress who plays Farah was filming The Boys at the time, but it still just felt like a waste of a character that you spent the first game building a relationship with. Then you also have Price and Gaz, which are kind of pushed in the background in this game. You get some missions with them, but the main focus is Soap and Ghost. I don't really mind them being the main characters because they're two classic Call of Duty characters that we haven't seen in like 10 years. But it just feels odd to have the whole first game build up these two characters to kind of push them in the background for the second game. Like in the original Modern Warfare, it was Soap and Price, and then in the second game, it was still Soap and Price. So it built off of that first game and the relationship we made. Another disconnect with 2019 is that Al-Qatala, Hadir, and Khalid al-Assad are almost completely forgotten about in this game. Yes, Al-Qatala is in it, and with Hassan, they are the main kind of antagonists. But for most of the game, you're fighting the cartel. The cartel is not that interesting in this game. Like, they're kind of just regular bad guys, and it felt like an unnecessary tangent to go on. Didn't have any real relation to the bigger story. They set up Hadir and Al-Assad, even having him as a pre-order skin, and then they just put a random new character as the leader of Al-Qatala. I don't know why they chose to do that, but it feels like an odd direction to go in. This kind of comes to one of my biggest problems, really, with the campaign, is that the new voice actor for Shepard just kind of doesn't hit like the original. And it's completely no fault of the voice actor himself. I've heard him in other games and seen him in shows, and I think he does good work. My problem is I think he's miscast in the role. It might be my fault, but I'll always hear him as Overlord from Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3. I think to cast such a classic gaming character like Shepard, you need a voice that sounds just like the original. I also think he's way less interesting. Shepard in the original can be summed up by this one quote from him.
He trades blood for money. He's your new best friend.
The old Shepard is willing to do anything to write the history books. The new Shepard can be summed up by this quote from him.
To do good, you've got to do some bad.
It's a pretty lukewarm statement that is kind of like everybody already knows. It doesn't have that same punch and ruthlessness as the original did. There's also this weird thing where the campaign seems kind of like a lot less polished than the 2019 campaign. There were a lot of weird texture glitches, AI would just walk through stuff, a lack of optimization, and a weird thing where I would reload a checkpoint and the FPS would just tank for like 10 seconds after I reloaded it. I'm not sure if this was a glitch or intentional, but about halfway through the game I realized there wasn't a lot of background music. The mission that made me notice it was the mission where we go to rescue Laswell. I was driving in it and I realized there was absolutely no music playing at all. It felt weird and kind of reminded me of the new Saints Row when you would turn on the streamer mode. It made it feel lifeless and unfinished. So if I had to rate this, I would say a 7 out of 10. Not as good as the original Modern Warfare 2, and not as good as Modern Warfare 2019, but it's still fun. I'd say it's worth playing, if not just for the rewards. I would ask what you guys think of the Modern Warfare 2 campaign, but everyone knows my opinion is fact. So thank you for watching.